Tonight's mystery movie, or AMC Screen Unseen, was Christy, starring Sydney Sweeney. I know this was a movie that has pretty much been on my radar since it got announced. Like, it feels like years now. And I believe this was like a passion project of Sydney Sweeney's. And she has been really interesting to just watch and follow her career and seeing the different movies that she is like choosing. Earlier this year, you had Americana. I recommend checking that out. That was a fun movie. This movie surprised me. And going into this, I didn't know what to really expect. I don't know nothing about Christy Salter. I know she's a boxer and whatnot. I'm not too familiar with a lot that goes on in the boxing world, but, I was still curious to see where this movie would go. And, it starts in like 89, and it kind of goes through different time periods in her life. And we see everything from like just her starting to do amateur boxing and whatnot. We get to see the family dynamic and just how her mom treats her. Her mom is a piece of shit. I'll say it. You know what I'm saying? And how strict she is. And obviously she is a lesbian. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with that in like the 80s, 90s. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people aren't too big a fan of it. It's not popular. It wasn't popular as it is now, or just wasn't accepted. So that became just like an issue and made Christy kind of feel like an outcast. So then she finally meets, this her trainer Jim, and this is the person that kind of takes her career to the next level, so to speak. But Jim is probably the worst thing to happen with Christy, and this is where this movie just slowly turns into a tragic story for Christy, because not only does Jim like control and manipulate her all throughout her career, just trying to just insert himself into every bit of her life, like following her, not even letting her having any type of friends, or can't even talk to the neighbor. It was really fucking disturbing. And you just see how that relationship just affected her career in such a negative way, to even where, when she links up with Don King's actor in this is fucking hilarious, because I don't even think he really looks like him, but I think he got the kind of the mannerisms and everything kind of down. But you start to see that she's very cocky. She's not really liked. Nobody really likes to be around her. But there's other boxers and whatnot that try to give her advice. But she doesn't really listen to none of that. Obviously, just she has a lot kind of going on. So one thing leads to the next, to the point where it reaches to a point where Jim and Christy, that relationship gets really nasty. I'm pretty sure this is not a spoiler for the people that do know this, or whatever. Jim ends up stabbing and shooting Christy, and I'm just like, whoa, and just leaving her for dead. That was a really tough scene to watch. That was really fucking brutal, because you watch this movie and all Christy wants to do is box. Like, that's all she does. Like, she just wants, that's a normal life to her, and just wants to live her life. But then she got all these people that don't really, like, that is even related to her. Like, her mom really doesn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Just, even during all these scenarios and stuff like that, during the mental and physical abuse, she still made it like Christy's fault at the end of it. And I was just like, man, she's a piece of shit. But this movie really surprised me on how tragic it was, and just heartfelt at the same time, while also giving you some motivation at the beginning, because you're seeing her winning all these fights. But her stopping block was really Layla Ali, and I was just like, man, like that, Jim kind of just set her up for that, and that was just terrible to see. And I'm glad that she was able to kind of make it out of that situation. But Sydney Sweeney did a great job, because to sit there and dedicate your craft into learning how to box and stuff like that, that lets me know, like, yeah, Sydney Sweeney really wants to be taken serious. And I think from this role on, you're going to have to definitely take her serious. I think she did an incredible job. The direction was dope. This was much better than The Smashing Machine, because now I get a better sense of who Christy was, like, just from the beginning of her career to where the movie ends. And they did a really good job. The choreography and the boxing was really dope to watch. But let me know what you think about this movie when you get around to watching it. It doesn't come out until November 7th. So I think that's like next week, right? Yeah, that's like next week. So definitely go check that out. Let me know. Until next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.